killed her, who may be in this room. We believe you are hiding in plain sight.
Keep your baby close to you. There's someone out there.
What's up, Mob Crew? I'm Chris, and today's missing person case is Don. Also, today's person of interest is Olivia. Today's missing person case is today's missing person case is Corey.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I am Chris with Monsters Under Our Bed. We cover murder, mystery to the paranormal. And the affidavit, probable cause affidavit for Richard Allen has finally been released. It was released, I think, like 15 minutes ago. I have not read it, so we're all going to read it together. I've got Steve from True Crime Web with me, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce him. Hey, Steve, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, sir. I'm looking forward to today.
Yeah, me too. Just for those that are new, do you want to just give a slight little background about yourself?
Sure. I'm retired law enforcement. I'm here in Georgia, 20 years of career. Started off in jail, worked my way through the road, went into investigations, became a state certified crime scene tech, investigated all different types of crimes, including homicide.
Awesome. So we're going to read it in about 5 minutes. We'll kind of let everybody kind of come in. So quickly, just before we get started, I always like to feature the missing. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this up. There's the affidavit, which we will read here in just a minute. But real quickly, what is this? I can bring this over. This is a missing juvenile. This is somebody, part of the Mob Crew family. So this means a lot to me to feature this poor kid who went missing on the 26th, just a few days ago. His name is Nicholas Ortiz. He went missing on the 26th. He was last seen on 8000 block of Six Pines Drive. This is in Shenandoah, Texas. So if anybody's in Texas or in Shenandoah, if you could please take a close look. His name's Nicholas Ortiz. He was last seen wearing orange hoodie, black shorts, and black tennis shoes and black glasses. So if you have any information, please call 281-367-8952. Thank you guys so much. This means so much to me. This is somebody that's close to the Mob Crew family, and so we want to get that information out there. So okay, so there is that. Let me get back to the affidavit. There it is. Looks like people are slowly starting to tune in. I kind of started like 5 minutes early, that way we could get the intro and stuff out. So yeah, we got Steve here. It's always good to have somebody that can kind of understand some of the lingo in this. So we'll get it started. So here we go. I, undersigned affiant, submit the following information as sworn affidavit setting forth the facts and circumstances. Just real quick, can everybody hear me okay? Let's just make
Yes.
sure
Sounds good.
volume
For
is
me.
great. Okay, awesome. Okay, so kind of get down to the juicy stuff here. Okay, so here we go. That on February 14th, 2017. Now, this is interesting. So this is actually the day they find them, because they were
Yes.
supposedly murdered on the 13th. So that on February 14th, 2017, victim 1 and victim 2, Libby and Abby, were found deceased in the woods approximately 0.2 miles northeast of the Monon High Bridge in Carroll County. Their bodies were located on the north side of Deer Creek, which is what we've been told. Oops, went a little bit too far. At the time, the Monon High Bridge Trail was approximately 1 mile gravel trail terminating at the Monon High Bridge. So basically, they're saying it was gravel up to the bridge. Now they have replaced that. It's now pavement, right?
Correct.
Okay. Get back to my spot here. So the Monon High Bridge is an abandoned railroad trestle, approximately 0.25 miles long, spanning the Deer Creek and Deer Creek Valley on the southeast end of the trail. Approximately 0.7 miles northwest of the trail, from the northwestern edge of the Monon High Bridge, is the Freedom Bridge, which is the pedestrian bridge spanning State Road 25. Approximately 300 feet west of the Freedom Bridge was a former railroad overpass, Old State Road 25, also known as County Road 300 North. The trail terminates just west of the former railroad overpass. The majority of the trail is in a wooded area, with a steep embankment on the south side of the trail. The entirety of the trail and the location of the girls' bodies were and are located in Carroll County, Indiana. Okay. Through interviews, reviews of electronic records, and a review of the video at the Hoosier Harv store, investigators believe victim 1 and 2 were dropped off across the Mears farm at 1:49 p.m. on February 13, 2017 by, and it's blank, and that's, of course, Kelsey. The Mears farm is located on the north side of the country road near the entrance of the trails. A video from victim 2's phone shows that at 2:13. So that's the picture that they took of Abby. Victim 1 and victim 2 encountered a male subject on the southeast portion of the Monon High Bridge. The male ordered the girls, guys, down the hill. No witnesses saw them after this time. No outgoing communications were found on victim 2's phone after this time. Their bodies were discovered on February 14, 2017. Okay, so far, pretty much what we've has been in the public. Okay, scroll down a little bit. Okay, I can see if I can make it a little larger.
You missed the gun part right above you there.
Oh, yeah. I'm getting to it. Okay. Sorry, guys. I can't zoom it in. I don't want to mess with it. Can I zoom in on this?
I don't know. Bottom right-hand corner, it has a magnifier.
Oh, there we go. Yep. Okay, here we go. That'll help everybody a little bit. Okay, now that I zoomed in, let me scroll down a little bit. Let me know if that's a little better, guys. Can you read it a little better?
I can see it. I can read it, and I've got bad eyes.
Okay, yeah, let me go down one because then it kind of goes back. All right, here we go. Okay, so victim. Oh, let me go back up there. Okay. The video recovered from victim 2's phone shows victim 1 walking southeast. So this is when Libby is recording Abby, while a male subject wearing a dark jacket and jeans walks behind her. As the male subject approaches victim 1 and 2, one of the victims mentions gun. Near the end of the video, a male is seen and heard telling the girls, guys, down the hill. So that's interesting. That's a new word that was which was kind of released in a kind of informal transcript that I believe Abby said it looks like he has a gun. So the girls then proceed down the hill and the video ends. Interesting. So they say the video ends as they're going down the hill.
Well, this establishes that, like we've always, wondered if the video had been altered or cut off due to the fact that he was presenting a gun, and the girl saw a gun at some point.
Yep. Okay. So moving on. Okay, so I read that. A still photograph taken from the video and the guys down the hill audio was subsequently released to the public to assist investigators in identifying the male. Victim 1 and Victim 2's death were ruled as homicides. Clothes were found in the Deer Creek belonging to Victim 1 and 2, south of where their bodies were located. That's interesting. So clothing of Victim 1 and 2. So clothes of Abby and Libby were found away from the bodies. There was also a 40 caliber unspent round less than 2 feet away from Victim 2's body, between Victim 1 and Victim 2's body. The round was unspent and had extraction marks on it.
Yes.
Okay, so for those, what is an extraction mark?
On semi-automatic pistols, such as what this 40 cal would be, I don't know the make or model of whichever it is, but all the semi-automatics that shoot 40 cals pretty well have similar parts. You'll have a extractor, which goes around there's a little setback on the rim of a cartridge that this extractor will jump over the rim, so that when the round is fired, the pressure is created and you'll operate the gun. The slide will come back automatically, extracting that round. But that process can also be done if you just rack the gun without pulling the trigger and without firing it. You'll extract an unspent round. So you can have markings from that extractor that would be forensically valuable on the shell casing of the unspent round. Plus, you could also have chamber striations that might, because guns are, just steel, hard metal, and these casings are, a softer metal of the rounds, the spent rounds. They contain copper and other nickels and things. It just depends on what type of ammo was used. Mm-hmm. And brass. Most of it is brass, so that they don't spark and cause issues in and of themselves. But that softer metal, when it's placed into the chamber of a gun, it can cause identifying marks that would be that you could match up a bullet that was fired or unfired from a gun just by working it through the action.
Interesting. Yeah, because I've known you can, obviously trace bullets, but yeah, I didn't know about unspent shells because I'm not a gun person. So that is very interesting. I'm going to quickly just discern which one Victim 1 and 2 is real quick. Let me go back up here real quick, and then we'll go back. So that way I can know. All right, where is it? One drops off. Okay, so the video recovered from Victim 2. Okay, so Victim 2 is Libby. Sorry, guys. I just want to. Okay, so Victim 1 is Abby. Victim 2 is Libby, because they kind of separate here, and I just want to make sure we know. Okay, so let me.
Let me go ahead and there's a question or two about the striations and identifying the round.
Okay, sure.
This isn't the lands and grooves of the barrel itself. That is when the bullet is fired, it goes down the barrel of the gun, that those cause identifying characteristics to the bullet that's going downrange. What this part of the identification from the striation mark is from the chamber section of the gun. Whereas,
interesting.
It's not so much that it's the bullet, it's just the brass casing itself that would have certain striation marks that if there's any imperfection in the chamber and also on the the extractor that is part of that firearm. So I just want to clarify that because I had some people that didn't understand what the striations were.
Okay, so I'm just going to reread that last part because now we know which one victim 1 and 2 is. So there was also a 40 caliber unspent round less than 2 feet away from Libby's body. So it was close to Libby's body between Abby and Libby. Okay, that had extraction marks on it. So interviews were conducted with 3 juveniles. So these must be the witnesses they were talking about, prosecution. So interviews conducted with 3 juveniles. And it says, comma, and they advised they were on the Monon High Bridge that day on February 13, 2017. They advised, let's see if I can't highlight it. They advised they were walking on the trail toward the Freedom Bridge to go home when they encountered a male walking from the Freedom Bridge toward the Monon High Bridge. Interesting. Blank describes the male as kind of creepy and advised he was wearing like blue jeans, like really light blue jacket, and his hair was gray, maybe a little brown, and he did not really show his face. Wow, interesting. His hair was gray, maybe a little brown, and he did not really show his face. Very interesting. Much different from the reddish brown, no blue eyes, young guy sketch. Man, I don't know. I'm a little flabbergasted reading that part. A little flabbergasted. She advised the jacket was a duck canvas type jacket. I have to look that up. Blank advised she said hi to the male, but he just glared at them. She recalled him being in all black and had something covering his mouth. We've heard scarf used before. She described him as not very tall. Interesting. With a bigger build. She said he was no bigger than 5'10". This witness advised he was wearing a black hoodie, black jeans, and black boots. So this must be...
Has to be suspect number 2 then.
Yes, or different witness.
Yes, with a different person.
Yeah, because there's a blank. Okay, so we got a blank here. Advice. She said hi. She described him as tall. Yeah, so it's unknown because it can't even see the redaction.
It was the same person, and each witness just saw different things, which happens sometimes.
Yep. So, okay, moving on. She stated that he had his hands in his pocket, showed investigator photographs she took on her phone while she was on the trail that day. Interesting. So she has photographs that she took of this. That's huge, especially if that is Richard
Let's see
Allen.
what does it. Okay.
We'll keep going. Yep, there's more. The photographs include a photo of the Monon High Bridge taken at 12:43 and another one taken at 1:26. So that's before they had arrived. Of the bench east of the Freedom Bridge. This witness advised after she took the photo of the bench, they started walking back toward the Freedom Bridge. She advised that she was then encountered the man who matched the description of the photograph taking from victim 2's video, Libby's video. Interesting. February 13th. Photographs taken 12. Okay. This witness described the man she encountered on the trail as wearing a blue or black windbreaker jacket. She had advised the jacket had a collar and he had his hood up from the clothing underneath his jacket. So we've always kind of suspected possible another hoodie with a windbreaker over that. She had advised he was wearing baggy jeans and was taller than her. She advised her head came up to approximately his shoulders. She advised, she said hi to the man, and he said nothing back. She stated he was walking with a purpose, like he knew where he was going. She stated he had his hands in his pocket and kept his head down, which we've heard Richard Allen tends to walk with his head down. This witness advised she did not get a good look at his face, but believed him to be a white male. The girls advised after encountering the male, they continued their walk across the Freedom Bridge and the old railroad bridge over Old State Road 25. Investigators spoke with Blank, who advised she was on the trails on February 13th. Video from the Hoosier Harvest Store captured Blank vehicle traveling eastbound at 146 toward the entrance across the Mears farm. Okay, so that must be Kelsey's vehicle at 146. So that's them arriving at the Mears parking lot or Mears farm. So Blank advised she saw 4 juvenile females walking on the bridge over Old State Road 25 as she was driving underneath on her way to park. I'm assuming this is Kelsey. Blank advised there was no other cars parked across from the Mears farm when she parked. She had advised she walked to the Monon High Bridge and observed a male matching one of the victim's 2's videos. Oh, maybe no. This is not. Excuse me. No, I don't think this is Kelsey. Never mind. No, this is a different witness. My apologies. Just because of the timing, 146, and they got there at 149. So I just kind of thought that was. So no, this is a different witness. So this different witness saw 4 juvenile females walking on the bridge as she was on her way to park. This witness advised there was no other cars parked across from the Mears farm when she parked. She advised she had walked to the Monon High Bridge and observed a male matching one from victim 2's, so Libby's video. Interesting. So after she parked, she walked to the Monon High Bridge, which is right at the same time that these girls were just about because she got there, she was traveling at 146. Doesn't say what time she arrived. She described the male she saw as a white male wearing blue jeans and a blue jean jacket. She advised he was standing on the first platform of the Monon High Bridge, approximately 50 feet from her. Interesting. She had advised she turned around at the bridge. She had advised she turned around at the bridge and continued her walk. She had advised approximately halfway between the bridge and the parking area across from Mears farm. Oh, so she had walked up to the bridge before the girls, Abby and Libby, showed up. So she showed up before Abby and Libby did. Sees this guy on platform 1. So that's what's going on. Then she turns around, and as she's coming back, she witnesses Abby and Libby. Let me get back to where I was at. She advised she believed the girls were Abby and Libby. Video from the Hoosier Harvester shows at 149 a white car matching vehicle traveling away from the entrance from the Mears farm. A white car matching vehicle traveling away from the Mears farm. So do you think that's Kelsey leaving at 149? Video from Hoover Harvester shows at 149 a white car matching vehicle traveling away from the entrance. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever heard what type of vehicles each of the people were driving. I don't know if I've heard that.
Okay, interesting. But that's crazy though. So there was a witness that showed up just before the girls did, walked nearly to the bridge, and either Richard Allen or whoever, bridge guy, was standing on platform 1, and luckily, she turned around, but unfortunately, Abby and Libby were heading that way as she was returning back. Okay. So, blank witness advised she finished her walk and saw no other adults other than the male on the bridge. Her vehicle is seen on the Hoover Harvester video at 2:14, leaving westbound from the trails. Blank witness advised she was leaving. She noted a vehicle was parked in an odd manner at the old CPS building. She said it was not odd for vehicles to be parked there, but she noticed it was odd because of the manner it was parked, backed in near the building, which I remember hearing. So it was backed in. Investigators received a tip from blank witness in which he stated he was on his way to Delphi on State Road 25 around 2:10 p.m. on February 13th. He observed a purple PT Cruiser or a small SUV type vehicle parked on the south side of the old CPS building. Oh, that's huge. I got to write that down. PTS Cruiser or small SUV. Now, PT Cruisers are pretty unique.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you can really tell them apart from any other. I mean, I'm not the best at, with vehicles and all that, but I definitely know my PT Cruisers when I see them. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of PT Cruisers. That's why. I just think they look funny. So that's interesting. Okay. He stated it appeared as though it was backed in to conceal the license plate of the vehicle. Interesting. So maybe obviously probably no license plate on the front, which a lot of people don't have. And obviously it was backed in. Blank witness both drew diagrams of where they saw the vehicle parked, and their diagrams generally matched as to the area the vehicle was parked and the manner in which it was parked. Blank advised he remembered seeing a smaller dark colored car parked in an old CPS building. So it's a dark colored. One says purple, and this guy says dark. Why wouldn't they release that?
I have no idea, but I'm sure the plot thickens. We'll find out here in a second, hopefully.
Why would they not release? I cannot believe
Yeah, I mean,
that.
All the YouTube and all the creators that went out there and created white vehicles and all these other things.
Yeah, way off.
Which I still don't know if this vehicle is going to be linked
Sure,
to his
true.
family or to his wife, to his daughter. I mean, what vehicles does he have access to that would match this description? But
Yeah.
And that may be part of because I can't see this being part of the probable cause without it being linked to him.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. So two witnesses both drew diagrams of where the vehicle was parked, and they both kind of matched in the same manner in which it was parked. Blank advised he remember seeing a smaller dark colored car parked at the old CPS building. He described it as possibly being a smart car, which they do, a PT Cruiser. They're pretty unique shape. Blank vehicle is seen leaving at 2:28 on the Hoosier Harvester video. Interesting. 2:28. I'm going to read 28. Now the murders would have started taking, well, the pitch, so
2:13, I think,
Yep,
is when
uh-huh,
the
yep.
video starts.
Yep.
So this
So-
is 15 minutes after that
Yep. 15 minutes after the video.
starts.
Okay. Yep. Investigators spoke with blank witness who stated that she was traveling east on 300 North on February 13th and observed a male subject walking west on the north side of 300 North, away from the Monon Bridge. Blank witness advised that the male subject was wearing a blue-colored jacket, blue jeans, and was muddy and bloody. Wow. She further stated that it appeared he had gotten into a fight. Investigators were able to determine from watching the video from the Hoover Harv store that Blank was traveling on CR 300 North at approximately 3:57 p.m. So, boy, we're gonna have to map this out and stuff. Oops, I gotta. Sorry, I gotta.
There's going to be a lot of mapping done in the next day.
Yeah, it's a lot. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. We're only halfway into it here. Through interviews, electronic data, photographs, and video from the Hoover Harp store, investigators determined that there were other people on the trail that day after 2:13 p.m., which is when the video starts. Those people were interviewed, and none of those individuals encountered the male subject referenced above, witnessed by the juvenile girls, blank and blank. Further, none of those individuals witnessed victim 1 and victim 2. Okay, that's interesting. Okay. Investigators reviewing prior tips encountered a tip narrative from an officer who interviewed Richard M. Allen in 2017. That narrative stated, Mr. Allen was on the trail at 13:30 to 15:30, which would have been 1:30 to 3:30. Interesting. I mean, that is basically right in the time frame. He parked at the old Farm Bureau building and walked to the new Freedom Bridge. While at the Freedom Bridge, he saw three females. He noted one was taller and had brown or black hair. He did not remember the description, nor did he speak with them. He walked from the Freedom Bridge to the High Bridge, I'm assuming the Monon High Bridge. He did not see anybody, although he stated he was watching a stock ticker on his phone as he walked. Okay, so he was checking his stock while walking the trail. He stated there was vehicles parked at the High Bridge trailhead. However, he did not pay attention to them. He did not take any photos or video. His cell phone did not list an IMEI, but did have the following. So an IMEI is basically, I think, like the ID of your phone or the SIM card's ID number. Potential follow-up information. Who were the three girls walking in the area of the Freedom Bridge? Because he stated he saw three. Is that right?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. So investigators believe Mr. Allen was referring to the former CPS building, as there was no Farm Bureau building. Yeah, because I'm like, Farm Bureau. In the area that so investigators believe Mr. Allen was referring to the former CPS building, as there was no Farm Bureau building in that area, nor had there been. Investigators believe the females he saw included maybe Libby and Abby. It's blank and blank. Due to the time they were leaving the trail, the time he reported getting to the trail, and the descriptions of the three females. Due to the time they were leaving the trail, the time he reported getting to the trail, and the descriptions the three females gave. Investigators discovered Richard Allen owned two vehicles in 2017, a 2006 black Ford Focus and a 2006 grade 4 F-150, I think, or it says Ford 500. Investigators observed a vehicle that resembles Allen's 2016 Ford Focus on the Hoosier Harp Store video at 127. At 127. So remember, the girls got there at 149. So his vehicle is seen on video at 127 traveling westbound on CR 300 North in front of the Hoosier Harp Store, sorry, which coincided with his statement that he arrived around 1:30 at the trails, which is basically 20 minutes before the girls arrive. Investigators note witness described the vehicle parked at the former CPS building as a PT Cruiser, small SUV, or smart car. Investigators believe those descriptions are similar in nature to a 2016 Ford Focus. And it is. They are kind of similar. We'll look at them. I mean, there's a big difference between a PT Cruiser. But the Ford Focus does. It's got a small body. So I could see if you're far away, you could kind of mistake it for a PT Cruiser. And, that's just coming from one witness. It's one witness says PT Cruiser, one says small SUV or smart car. So I could see how it's pretty close. And so he had a black Ford Focus, and one witness described a purple PT Cruiser, and the other one said a dark colored SUV or smart car. So it's pretty close. All right, let me take a sip here. Clear my throat, guys. Okay. So on October 13th, all right, so moving to present time almost, this year anyway. On October 13th, 2022, this year, Richard Allen was interviewed again by investigators. He advised he was on the trails on February 13th. He stated he saw juvenile girls on the trails east of the Freedom Bridge, and that he went onto the Monon High Bridge. Richard Allen further stated he went out onto the Monon High Bridge to watch the fish. Okay. To watch the fish. All right. Later in his statement, he said he walked out to the first platform on the bridge. He stated, "Now, you've been on the bridge. Can you see fish from the bridge?"
Well, not my eyes, but it's possible. But that'd be at 60 feet, 20 yards. No, he may just be rambling.
Yeah, that's what I was basically going to get to.
Yeah, because what he was looking for was not fish, and
yeah,
we have proof of that.
Yeah, it was fishing for something else. Okay, sadly. So yeah, that is odd statement to stand on a bridge. And how high is that bridge again? 100?
No, it's 60 something feet up. But we also have to look at, the statement of catfishing and what is the definition of fish. There's a lot of things and a lot of stuff out there on the internet about different meanings of fish.
Yeah, true. So later in his statement, he said he walked out to the first platform on the bridge. He stated he walked back, sat on the bench of the trail, and then left. So he said he was there from 1:30 to 3:30, went to the bridge, and then walked back, sat on the bench for a bit, and left. He stated he parked his car on the side of the old building, so the CPS building, I'm assuming. He told investigators that he was wearing blue jeans and a blue or black Carhartt jacket with a hood, which I've seen that a lot of people say, God, that looks like a Carhartt jacket. So he's saying he's wearing blue jeans and a blue jacket. Wow.
I'm so confused right now.
Yeah. He advised he may have been wearing some type of head covering as he advised he may be wearing some type of head covering as well. So, I mean, because it is February, so I mean, I can understand, but it was a warmer day than it would normally be for a February. He further claimed he saw no one else except for the juvenile girls he saw east of the Freedom Bridge. He told investigators that he owns firearms and they are at his home because he's got a permit and his wife, Kathy, has a permit. Richard M. Allen's wife, Kathy Allen, also spoke to investigators. She confirmed that Richard did have guns and knives at the residence. She also stated that Richard still owns a blue Carhartt jacket. Uh-oh. On October 13th, investigators executed a search warrant of Richard Allen's residence at the Whiteman Drive in Delphi. Among other items, officers located jackets, boots, knives, and firearms, including a Sig Sauer model P226 40 caliber pistol with serial number U625627. What caliber did they found at the
40 cal?
40 caliber round at the scene that was 2 feet away from Libby's body and in between the two girls' bodies. An unspent shell casing. That was a 40 caliber. For those that might have missed the first part of the show. The laboratory performed a physical examination and classification of the firearm, function test, barrel, and overall length measurement, test firing, ammunition component characterization, microscopic comparison, and NIBIN. What do you know what an NIBIN? It's right here.
Probably some type of high technical machinery or
okay.
I don't know.
Okay. The laboratory determined the unspent round located within 2 feet of Libby's body had been cycled to Richard M. Allen's Sig Sauer Model P226.
Huge.
Wow.
Huge. Done deal.
Wow.
It's over.
Oh my gosh, I'm blown away. So we still got 3 more pages to go through. I'm still blown away with some of this stuff that they could have brought out, like that witness's description, the vehicle. I mean, I could kind of see where it would, I mean, because it wasn't, PT Cruisers, different from a Ford Focus, but.
Well, now this is all from the prosecution's standpoint.
Sure,
I'm trying to look at it from how is the
that's true.
The defense going to overcome some of the scientific information. And so if I get sidetracked here a few minutes, just go ahead.
Well, we will recap everything as well, because I see people reading this, read that again, read this again. I know there's a lot. We'll kind of recap everything as we get done. But that last part, basically on October 14th and 19th, they did some laboratory tests on Richard Allen's Sig Sauer model, and they tested it. They, shot the gun. This would be what Steve should, I guess, what they would be doing, the test. So what do they kind of do? They just kind of test his gun with.
Well, they would go in and do the exact same thing. Whatever the round that they found is that they would take a similar designed unspent round, cycle it through the gun, and compare that with what they found at the crime scene. And they would do that, and whatever the information and data collected, analyzed, documented, and it is evidence. And and of course, they'll document the firearm. Of course, it's going to be, photographed. There'll be all this information about these striations or these identifying characteristics of the chamber of that weapon, the individual markings that's on that extractor that will have went over the rim of that 40 cal or unspent round. All those things make they're hard metal. And when they come in contact with a softer metal, it imposes those characteristics that can be identified. And if we trust the crime lab, that is strong.
Yeah. Good to see you, Tony D. Tony is from EquiSearch. That is, a team that goes out and helps find missing people. They are amazing. I got to work with Tony with the Dylan Rounds case. It's always an honor to have you in here, Tony. Okay, so getting back to it. So they did find that unspent shell casing that was next to Libby's body, 2 feet from her body, that was also in between the two girls' body. The laboratory remarked, the identification opinion is reached when the evidence exhibits an agreement of class characteristics and sufficient agreement of the individual marks. Sufficient agreement is related to the significant duplication of random, this is well worded, random striated impressed marks as evidenced by the correspondence of a pattern or combination of patterns of surface contours. That is a mouthful, and I'm not even done. The interpretation of identification is subjective in nature and based on relevant scientific research and the reporting examiner's training and experience. Sorry, I'm not laughing. This is not laughing matter. It's just the way it's worded is, wow, that is a word salad right there.
The person that analyzed that shell and the other evidence and processes they took, he's basing it on his opinion, which of course now the defense will have to go find an expert that can counter those opinions.
Sure.
And, but that's probably what they're going to have to do. But now, can they find someone to do that? Because either it's obvious or it isn't when you get to that level of intensity and magnification of looking at these striations. I mean, it's almost like a signature, and it is a signature.
Yeah,
It shows those 2 marks occurred time and time again. And so if they have those 2 marks, it's huge.
Yeah. Okay, so there's 8 pages. We've read 5 out of the 8. There's 2 more pages, and then we'll kind of recap everything for those that just kind of came in, might have missed the first part. So investigators then ran the firearm and found that the firearm was purchased by Richard Allen in 2001. Richard Allen voluntarily came to the Indiana State Police post on October 26. He spoke with investigators and stated that he never allowed anyone to use or borrow the Sig Sauer model P226 firearm. When asked about the unspent bullet, he did not have an explanation of why the bullet was found between the bodies of Libby and Abby. He again admitted that he was on the trail but denied knowing Libby or Abby and denied any involvement in their murders. Carroll County Sheriff's Department Detective Blank has been part of the investigation since it started in 2017. He had an opportunity to review and examine the evidence gathered in this investigation. Detective Blank, along with other investigators, believe the evidence gathered showed that Richard Allen is the male subject seen on the video from Libby's phone who forced the victims down the hill. Further, that the victims were forced down the hill by Richard Allen and led to a location where they were murdered. Heavy stuff. That's heavy. Through the statements and photographs of the juvenile females and the statement of blank witness, I'm assuming, and were at the southeast edge of the trail at 1243, east of the Freedom Bridge at 126, and walked across the former railroad overpass over Old State Road 25 after 1:26 p.m. And before 1:46 p.m., they walked the entirety of the trail and observed only one person, an adult male. So we're talking about witnesses that were, or a witness that was walking the trail. Also, witnesses, I should say, that were there about 12:43. They got there, and they kind of walked the trails. And then the only person that they had noticed that was there was this adult male that they believe is Richard Allen. Blank witness vehicle is seen on Hoosier Harp Store video at 1:46 and leaving at 2:14 p.m. So that is just as the video starts. So this is witnesses. And she stated she only saw the one adult male. Blank and blank described the male in similar manners, wearing similar clothing, leading investigators to believe all four saw the same male individual. So 4 witnesses, which most of them are underage. I think one is still underage at this time, I believe. That's why they're keeping their identities hidden. Investigators believe the male observed, excuse me, frog in my throat. Okay, did I read that? Is the same male? Okay, investigators believe the male observed by blank and blank is the same male depicted in the video from Libby's phone due to the descriptions of the male by 4 females matching the male in the video. Furthermore, Libby's video was taken at 2:13, and blank saw only one male while she was on the trail approximately 1:46 to 2:14. And that was, I believe, the one girl that had walked to the bridge before Abby and Libby showed up and saw Richard standing on the first platform, and she turned around. Investigators believe Richard Allen was the male seen by blank and blank, and the male seen in Libby's video. Richard Allen told investigators he was on the trail from 1:30 to 3:30 that day. I mean, he puts himself right in that time frame.
Has to.
What? I'm so baffled. I mean, he literally puts himself right in the time frame. I cannot believe this. I mean, there's only maybe 20 people there throughout that time, from morning, like Kelsey said, she thought I think she first said maybe like 20 to 30 people. And then I think she kind of rephrased it instead, maybe like 15 to 20 people, something like that.
And 5 or 6 males.
Yeah, it wasn't that busy. So you only have so many people. I'm baffled.
I'm with you. I'm speechless and baffled.
Yeah, especially, yeah. Thank you, Tom. And hi, everyone. Big news. Thank you so much for the $20. And thank you so much, Jennifer, for the super sticker. You guys are so awesome. All right, so there's still some more. Okay. So video from Hoosier Harp Store shows a vehicle that matches the description of Richard Allen's vehicle passing at 1:27 toward the former CPS building. The clothing he told investigators he was wearing matched the clothing of the male in Libby's video and the clothing description provided by blank witness and the other witness. A vehicle matching the description of his 2016 Ford Focus is seen at or around 2:10 p.m., 2:14 p.m., and 2:28 p.m. at the former CPS building. So these are all right. So they're basically saying the car's there during these times, which at 2:13 is when the video starts. Is that you got something to say, Steve?
No, I'm just running through it. You've got a man that tells you exactly what he's wearing, and it matches the guy on the bridge. And you have a witness that says she saw a guy wearing those with bloody and muddy clothing. I'm lost.
Oh,
It's
man.
interesting. But we do have the right guy now, it appears to be so.
Yeah, Freya. I'm not ignoring anyone, but my jaw's still on the floor. I know. This is frustrating, really frustrating. Okay. Through his own admissions, Richard Allen walked the trails and eventually hiked to the Monon High Bridge and walked out onto the Monon High Bridge. A male subject matching Richard Allen's description was not seen on the trail after 2:13. Okay, so then he's on the bridge, obviously, because that's when the video starts. Investigators identified other individuals on the trail, or CR 300 North, between 2:30 and 4:11 p.m. None of those individuals saw a male subject matching the description of Richard Allen on the trail. Furthermore, Richard Allen stated that he only saw 3 girls on the trail who investigators believed to be blank and blank. Investigators believe Richard Allen was not seen on the trail after 2:13 because he was in the woods. Yeah, makes sense. An unspent .40 caliber round between the bodies of Libby and Abby was forensically determined to have been cycled through Richard Allen's Sig Sauer model P226. The Sig Sauer model P226 was found at Richard Allen's residence, and he admitted to owning it. Investigators were able to determine that he owned it since 2001. Richard Allen stated he had not been on that property where the unspent round was found, that he did not know the property owner, and that he had no explanation as to why a round cycled through his firearm would be at that location. Furthermore, he stated that he would never allow anyone to use or borrow his Sig Sauer. Investigators believe that after the victims were murdered, Richard Allen returned to his vehicle by walking down CR 300 North. I'll have to take a look at, do some map time. Investigators believe he was seen by blank walking back to his vehicle on CR 300 North with clothes that were muddy and bloody. Blank, along with the investigators, believe the statements made by the witness because the statements corroborate the timeline of death of the 2 victims, as well as coincide with the admissions made by Richard Allen. Further, the accounts relayed by blank witness and blank witness are similar in nature, and timestamps on photographs taken by another witness correspond to the times the juvenile females said they were on the trail and saw the male individual. Okay, this is 7 of 8, 6 of 8. That's as far as it goes. Is that it? It must be it. That's a lot to take in.
Well, good news is they've got their guy.
You feel pretty, yeah, after reading that, just thoughts with everything.
Well, of course, they're going to be looking at, because we have an individual that for whatever reason of his profile, his personality, that he decided to do this to these innocent children on that day. And what is his history? Has he done it before? And, you know, has he done it since? I mean, you're dealing with an individual that was able to commit this crime, then go back into society and act as if nothing occurred. Speak to law enforcement, not gather any bad vibes from them. They didn't recognize it. And like I said, though, I'm speechless, because when I look at what they had and look at how law enforcement would normally create certain flow charts of information and document it and put it up and visualize what did each witness say, what did each person that placed herself at the crime scene said, and what are the overlapping information. The overlapping information is absolutely, you know, undeniable. He says he's wearing those clothing, that he parked at that place. He walked down a certain road where someone saw a bloody, muddy individual. I'm just lost at why we're here today 6 years later.
Yeah.
Almost 6 years.
Yeah. Almost 6 years. Yeah. Just kind of go back at the top here. Let me get this real quick. They have to have more than eyewitness account to bust down his door. It sounds like they have known it was him from day one.
Well, they have to have probable cause. Now, would they have
Yeah.
had probable cause? I think I could draw up a search warrant from the information that he admitted he wearing the same clothing. He went to platform 1. We have a witness saw him on platform 1. He's on the trail, met the girls. They said that, I think there's plenty of reason to get probable cause to go and would they have issued a no-knock search warrant? Maybe, maybe not. But they would have issued a search warrant on probable cause from day one that they had that information from that officer interviewed him to when he was brought back in and said that some of that information. But it does bring interest to me that they shared certain information in peer reviews. What information did they send? Because some of these people doing reviews should have caught that.
Yeah, because I mean, the whole reason we're here is that, and I think it's kind of in there a little bit that, they kind of go back and realize that, hey, this guy said, that he was there that day.
Yeah,
But
and
thinking
wearing
of-
those clothing. I understand why anyone that went back and looked at it says, oh, we need to look. This is our guy. I understand why someone would look at that and say, oh, yes, Richard Allen is our man.
Yeah.
Um,
I am just in shock. Thank you so much, Michelle, for the $5 super sticker. Let me get one more here.
wow,
You guys
the bias that was created by the Ron Logan search warrant had to just absolutely is what drove it away from him. Because I can see no other information of what we know right now was that of what agencies were there, what investigations were they focused on, and of course you had the Anthony Schatz account, and then you had the Ron Logan, and those two investigative biases along those two lines of parallel investigations overshadowed this one for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can see that. Like I said, I mean, we don't want to shame Delphi, the law enforcement. I'm sure they work real hard. They just unfortunately looking down other avenues.
Yeah. I mean, that happens in homicides, and that's what you're supposed to do. They had the personnel there to run these parallel investigations and go down each of these paths. I just don't understand why they didn't dedicate more towards each individual that placed themselves on that trail that day.
Yeah, that totally. I agree. Yeah, a little frustrating. Steve is sure feels like this is not his first rodeo. Oh yeah. So glad to have him here to kind of explain some of this stuff, especially about the unspent shell casing. I didn't know about that because I'm not a big gun person, so I know you can match grooves that have been shot, but I didn't know about the unspent shell casing. That's huge.
Yeah, and of course they don't have the information about the gun until now, but if they'd executed with probable cause back then and did another search warrant in 2017 of another parallel investigations, if they'd found that gun, because they had the information, they knew they were looking for a gun. It's included in, it's always been part of the rumor that they're looking for a specific gun or a certain type of gun, which could have been the semi-automatic. And so, the information is there. And I just, like I said, I just don't understand why the other parallel investigation didn't occur of all the suspects, including, you got your family, you have the witnesses, all the male subjects that were on there that day. But they had enough, Ives, who was the prosecutor at the time, says that, they had resources that no other investigation ever had, and they could take these tips and leads and follow up with them. And so they had, literally hundreds of officers that they could have done these parallel investigations with, and I just don't understand. But
Yeah.
but it doesn't really matter because right now the guy's in jail. I just hope no
Yeah.
one else is harmed since.
Yeah. So I'm going to show everybody, and like I said, we're going to kind of recap everything. And if you need to go at any time, Steve, because I know you're going to have a show, I'm going to show the Hoover Harp Store. So this was something interesting. I'm going to pull it up here in a minute, but back to. So what I've got is this Hoover Hooser. I'm sorry, I keep saying Hoover. Hooser Harp Store. Let me get to this real quick. Emo, so much. Thank you so much, buddy, for the $50. He says, "Hey, Chris, great to see you and Steve. This is great news to finally see. I just heard the news and had to get online. Thanks for the great job you guys do. Thank you so much, Emo Jim. I really appreciate it. You're so awesome. Thank you so much for the supporting the channel. So this is where the Hoover Harp Store is. And what's interesting is this has a camera. And I remember a certain content creator had noticed that there was a camera and always thought it wasn't working, but apparently it was, and caught all this traffic going back and forth. So there was a camera. So every time because this is mentioned, I mean, a lot in the affidavit if you're just coming in. And let me see if I can swing this one over. Just a second, guys. Let me see if I can. Okay, perfect. Okay. Oh, that's right. They haven't been there. Man, I really wish they had been there. But there is a camera that's, I think, somewhere like on this building right here. And so as you can see, this is 300 North. So that's huge to see all the traffic that's coming in. And then the old CPS building is this building. Let's back it up. So here's the Mears parking lot, or Mears Farm, where the girls showed up at 1:30, 149, I think now. But the old CPS building is where apparently Richard Allen parked, which is this building here. Apparently he backed in to hide his license plate. That is where at least, 2 or 3 witnesses claimed to have seen different vehicles, all like one was a PT Cruiser, another one was a small SUV or smart car, and Richard Allen, let's pull it back up, had owned a Ford 2016. Is well, this is what, and say, I can definitely see. I mean, because the back of it, for sure. Oops, go back. The back of it was very more like a PT Cruiser, so I could definitely see someone see, because obviously you kind of see that. I could see someone kind of mixing that with the PT Cruiser. I mean, here's what I think everybody knows what PT Cruiser is, but yeah. So one witness thought that they saw a purple PT Cruiser, but Richard Allen had a 2016 black Ford Focus. And CPS building's not. Gotta pull up my Google Earth here. So that's huge. Pull back the affidavit here. So just overall thoughts on anything that you'd want to touch on before we.
No, I'm just happy that we're here. That I feel better about the case now from the state standpoint of what it is, why this was sealed, and the prosecutor's remarks about other actors is curious, because
Yes.
unless they're looking at that, there's the other description of a different person in different clothing. Are they trying to link that into this case also? Because and there's no need to seal this. Now, are there other documents that are sealed? That's possible that they just decided to release this one document. There could be a lot of other reports and things that are sealed that we just don't know about. But it is interesting, but I'm glad that we got what we got. This is going to open up the floodgates. But it is surprising that they sealed this one right now. But I'm glad it's unsealed, and it's not redacted that heavily. I'm well pleased with it.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't see what the fuss was really about, because it just implicates him, so it's not implicating anybody else, which is weird because the prosecution says that they believe somebody else is involved, which this does not. There is no hints at another player at all.
Other than that one description of the guy in black.
Yes, and the other thing is he was on his phone checking stock. So that's interesting. Was he really a guy that was into stocks? I mean,
well, they're going to know about
that.
They're going to look it up.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Emo. That is crazy. I own a 2016 Ford Focus Titanium. Not good.
Yeah, it says supposed to be 12 pages, and I don't.
It says 8 pages, but
in comments, someone says that the PC had 12 pages. I don't know.
Yeah, it says 7 of 8 or 8 pages. Yep. So you see 2 of 8. It does seem like there's 1 page missing, but I just went and kind of looked on Twitter, and I'm not seeing. So there's page 4, page 6. Let me go on Angela's here and let's see. I'll double check here. So that's the 1 page. We'll double check here. This is the only page that's missing is the bottom court orders affidavit. Oh no, this is just from the judge itself. Okay, hold on. That's just from the judge. Okay, here's a link to the full PC. All right. Let's just take a double look. Read the redacted. Okay, open link. How many links am I going to open up? Pages 1 through 4. Okay, here it is. So yeah, 7. Yep. So it's everything that we read. So
okay,
we're not missing anything. It says that there's 8 pages, but there's 7. I think it's because some pages are like there's kind of 1.5 page per the way whoever printed it out.
Okay.
So I think there's supposed to be 8 pages, but it got kind of shrunk down to 7. So we did get the whole thing. It is kind of weird that it doesn't finish. Like it just ends. there could be one last page where it says, signed by this is whoever the investigator or detectives wrote.
Well, justice is well on its way now, so we have the understanding of why he's incarcerated, and so we'll see where it goes as if they change venue and all the other things that will be coming up in the hearings as we progress.
Okay, this is interesting. So this is what came from the judge. The court, having had this matter under advisement following a hearing conducted on November 22nd, and having considered the evidence submitted and the arguments of counsel, now denies the state's verified request to prohibit public access to court record in part. The court finds that the state has failed to prove by clear and convincing evidence that the affidavit of probable cause and the charging information should be excluded from public access. The court finds that the public interest is not served by prohibiting access, and that the protection and safety of witnesses can be ensured by redacting their names from the affidavit, and that the defendant's personal information can be removed from the changing information. The court notes that the prosecuting attorney submitted charging informations and a probable cause affidavit at the hearing. So basically saying that the prosecution brought in a affidavit that was redacted in a form that they felt comfortable with if she decided to release it. Those documents will be released to the public and made part of the record of this cause. The original charging information and affidavit of probable cause shall remain sealed, and confidential court records are not redacted. And that is about. The court further finds that the media interveners motion for leave to intervene is moot and therefore denied. Oh, interesting. So they denied. What is motion to intervene? Like, because I know you got prosecution, defense, and a media's motion to intervene is like, hey, I want to be a part of this process. Is that?
I don't know. I never dealt with the media and in this part of the of the arguments. I'll look it up though. I just thought it was interesting why they were at that public hearing after they did their thing on the 22nd. That media hopped in. What was it? Media something. They jumped in and did a motion for intervene. I'd never heard of that. I looked it up a little bit, and it just kind of said that you got prosecution and defense, and that they, I don't know. I guess it allows access for the media to get records. I'm not sure. Freedom of the press, so that they
something
can
like that. Yeah.
Notify the public or something. I guess I don't know.
Yeah. So, so anyway, no mention of any other person, no Klines, no real hint at.
Yeah. And so all that will, other than that odd statement by the prosecutor of why he wanted it to be kept sealed of other actors, that's just odd. But anyway, we're at a good place right now.
Yeah. I agree. News Now said that there are 12 pages. News Now said there are 12 pages this morning. I mean, it does kind of not like officially end. So anybody have a link? I'm looking.
Yep. No, you hit some major stuff. It does. I don't know what else other 4 pages could even do. But I've got a busy 2 days ahead of me.
Yeah. No, Steve, I will, because I'll go ahead and I'm going to go for about another 20 minutes. So I know you've got a show. Quickly before you go though, we are going to have a big show next week.
Yes.
Just real quick. You just want to quickly explain what's going on?
I'm part of my channel, True Crime Web is that I go out with my skill sets that I learned as a law enforcement officer and processing crime scenes. And whenever I create my channel, I have a cold case project where I go out and work with families that have been victim of cold cases. And one of those cold cases I've been involved in for some time is the Avondale murders of Elizabeth and Lyric. And so Elizabeth Collins' father, Drew Collins, is going to be on a show that we're going to co-host. I'll have the first part on the 10-year anniversary of Elizabeth and Lyric's bodies being found I think it's Seven Bridges Park.
Yep.
Refuge. And so we will be looking at that case speaking with Drew, talking about the events of that fateful day all the way up till what we're doing now, and what the family has planned to do in the future to bring awareness to the case. And so I'll be having my show next Monday, starting off with the first part, and then Chris is going to come on and continue the interview, so that his community and we get the awareness out there to the largest crowd that we can.
I'm excited for that. And yeah, just spreading awareness, and the things that you've been doing are so amazing. And I'm so proud and honored to be a part of it. It's so awesome. So, as I said, I'm going to keep going for a little bit. But Steve,
right.
he's going to have his show. What time are you going? Eastern time?
I've got a show tonight. It's just, I didn't know when, and I was surprised that it came out this late in the day, and I wasn't prepared for it to do what, and to analyze and do what I want to do with this affidavit that's been released today. But I'll have something for Thursday night. But tonight we're just we're doing a overview of Delphi,
Sure.
Evansdale, and Idaho, and we'll be looking at those. It's just a general discussion of those three topics. And
Awesome.
but then Thursday night will be totally dedicated to this affidavit.
Awesome. So if you're not subscribed, Steve covers the same stuff, and you get, he's former law enforcement. He's got great insights. And so please go over and check out his channel, True Crime Web. And he will be live later tonight. So thank you so much, Steve, for coming on, buddy. And we'll talk
I'll
to
get
you
out
soon.
of here, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.
All right, sounds good, bud. Thank you. Okay, let me just get caught up on everything, and then we'll see. Mandy, thank you so much for the $35 czar. Chris and Steve, do you think Evansdale is linked to RA? I don't think so. I don't think Steve does either. Because I think I've asked him that before, and I don't think we believe it's somebody else. A solo individual as well. Someone just like Richard Allen, but local to Evansdale. But great question, and thank you so much for the $35 czar. So let's just take a peek at what they're saying, because does anybody know in the chat if there is more pages? I think what happened, just reading here, is it's the way that they put them out, in my opinion. Because they fit like more than one page onto, and I think that's why. But it doesn't end like you would think a document would end. It's just kind of. I mean, we go to the bottom here. It's, it says 7 of 8, and so yeah, I do think there is more to it. So I don't think. I just don't know what. Okay, she just. In here, anybody finds a link to the full thing, let me know. I still don't see anybody that's got the extended version that I know of. See what everybody's saying in the oh, Copper Horse, did you miss? So yeah, we'll kind of recap it just a little bit. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but just some of the big highlights of the document if you missed it. And then after I go live, I'm going to break down some of the witness statements and kind of where they're at. I think I'm going to do a video where it shows a broader picture of where these witnesses claim to be in regards to where Richard Allen is. I think that's huge because We have one witness that says, I believe it's a female that showed up at, let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, so she showed up at 12:43 and then walked to, is it this one? She walked to the bridge at 1:26. No, that's the different one. That's a different one. There was one witness that literally showed up. Okay, 1:49. Abby and Libby showed up at 1:49. I don't know if I have to break this all down, but one of the things that they released is another word that was mentioned in the video, which is gun, which we kind of had already kind of assumed. I did a video on that where there was kind of an unofficial transcript of what was said in that video. And it wasn't much, but one of the things was they believed Abby said, looks like he has a gun. They just say gun. But well, it mentions here, it says one of the victims mentions gun. And so, and now Richard Allen owned this Sig Sauer P226. They found an unspent shell casing that was 2 feet away from Libby, that was in between the girls' bodies. Doesn't talk anything about, you know, the crime scene itself, other than that. That there was clothing found away from the girls, and that was both victims' clothing. They don't say exactly which clothing, but clothes from both victims were found away from the girls. So some of them had been derobed. But the big one was the one witness that showed up and said that she saw Richard Allen standing at the bridge on platform 1 at, let me check my notes. I think at 1:27. And okay, so she showed up at 1:27 and then she walked to the Monon High Bridge. And we'll kind of here, we'll actually just look at it. So one of the witnesses describes showing up, walking, and seeing Richard at platform 1. And this was just before 1:40. And then the girls, this witness started walking back and she saw the two girls, Abby and Libby, walking. So that's really interesting. So, wow, now thinking about that, that makes me wonder, did Richard go and hide in the woods here? Or did Richard go and cross and then he showed up and actually came from the southeast side? Because there's always been a theory. So that's kind of interesting, actually. Let me see what everybody's saying here. Okay, Casey L says there's only 7 pages. Also, appears 7 pages is all anyone has. Okay, thank you so much, Casey L. Let's see. Did TK ever own a Chrysler PT Cruiser? I wonder. No, I really think that was just because the Ford Focus, especially that 2016, does kind of have that back end that's kind of looks like a PT Cruiser, which I mean it's really tough for me to confuse a PT Cruiser with any other vehicle. They're pretty unique, but that Ford Focus does, I mean, have kind of at least the rear end definitely looks like it. And that one's got 2000 Ford Focus. So yeah, so it's kind of got the back rear end there. Cruiser. I said I mean, PT Cruiser is, I think, a box shape, but I could kind of see where they could kind of get it mixed up. But wow, oh, my mind is blown right now. I just cannot believe it. Just reading your guys's chat here. Yeah, the bullet. So yeah, if you're just coming in, the main thing is this 40 caliber bullet that's found next to the girls' bodies. It had extraction marks, which is kind of like the same thing as when you shoot a bullet, and it has the grooves. You can match the bullet that's been shot from the grooves that it creates back to the gun. I guess it's the same thing with this unspent round because it leaves marks or extraction marks, as they say. And so they took, of course, when they came back to Richard Allen on October, what was it, October? Where are you? October 13th. So they came back to Richard, and then they got his gun and tested it, and through the laboratories, they determined that it was a match for the same kind of grooves. So that is definitely a nail in the coffin for him. And he puts himself. This is the weird thing: is he puts himself there at 1:30, between 1:30 and 3:30, and he even told investigators that he was wearing blue jeans and a blue or black Carhartt jacket with a hood, which they did recover from his home. I was still kind of hoping they would say, maybe I still think there's another page or two that they still haven't released that may say other things of like what they took from his home. That's what I was kind of hoping for. I was kind of curious of what they took from the shed, and they supposedly dug up around the shed and had a metal detector. So I'm kind of curious what that was all about. So maybe there'll be a little bit more to this. I really do, because this doesn't end how you would think it would end. So I do think there's still a page or two missing. Oh, 50 memberships. Oh, did someone offer? See, okay, so just a quick thing. When I'm on StreamYard, there's certain things that it doesn't show you. If you're a member and let's say you hit your milestone and you say, hey, I hit my 2-month milestone. When you're on StreamYard, it doesn't show it. It's the same goes with when you do uh, memberships. So I don't get to see who offered it. Was it Copper Horse? Okay, so I'm assuming it was Copper Horse. Thank you so much, Copper Horse. That's huge because we're gonna have some big things coming up. Like I said, we're gonna have the father Drew Collins on next Monday. Um, Thanks to Steve. That's the 10-year anniversary um, for a case that's gone unsolved, and that's for the Evansdale girls of Collins and Cook. And so there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes, and a website that's being built, or I think is pretty much built, that's going to help bring awareness to the case. Because now that this case is with Delphi is getting traction and starting to get some justice. I can only imagine 10 years this poor family's been waiting. So honored to help in any way I can. Chris, I was watching the Fox News this morning after this came out, and they went through 12 pages. Really? Let's okay. Let me go to Reddit and see. If anybody finds it, let me know. Okay, so okay, let's see about this one. No, same thing, 7 pages. Okay. Not seeing anybody talking about that. I believe you. Oh, 8th page of the PCA. Oh, here we go. Jeez. Oh, okay. So it was what I thought. Okay. So it's basically day October 27th. What's the date at the beginning of this? It doesn't have a date. Interesting. So that's what I was kind of expecting something, how it to end, something like this. Now this could be the final page. It isn't signed, and it's just kind of a formality at the end. Maybe that's why they didn't release the last page. Okay, just to clear everything up. So the only page that's missing right now is just that page, which is this. It's just the formality at the end. Richard versus Allen, dates and everything, case number. So, and then with obviously signatures that are probably blacked out or whatever. So, so we do have everything. We just don't have that. I mean, I guess I should save this so, and then I could put everything together. But so, and it looks like on this, it looks like it's kind of combined some of the pages. So I think I could understand where it could be stretched out to 12 pages, like you were saying, Emo Jim. So I think we have everything because just looking at what people are talking about, I don't see him talking about anything that we haven't gone over. So, but so we didn't miss anything. Yeah, I know I've got a terrible cold, wintertime. I apologize. Go figure when it's just when I got to read. So my apologies. Um, Let me get back to email. Thank you so much for the $5, buddy. And thank you, Eat at the After. Thank you so much for becoming a member. We're gonna have so much stuff coming up. Super stoked. But I think we're gonna end the show here in just a minute, and then I'm gonna go through and basically do kind of a detailed overview of where kind of the witnesses were at and where they kind of spotted Richard, because there's kind of a lot of movement between these 4 witnesses and where they saw this, the adult male, which is most likely Richard's. So I'm going to try to make a video, maybe have it out tonight. I don't know. There's quite a bit to kind of break down in this, but super stoked that I don't see how this would hurt the case by releasing this. Any final thoughts? See if I can answer any questions. Yeah, so if anybody's new to memberships and gifted memberships, there's a little green present box that's just below this video. It's at the top of the chat, to the left a little bit. If you haven't clicked on that, click on it. All you have to do that is once. It's randomized, but you have to click the box at least once, and then it'll randomize who gets memberships, and that's pretty cool. And so please show your love to Copper Horse and Tom N. And let me just quickly, before you guys, before we finish here, where did I put it? Oh, I'm so used to having my other program. So this is huge. This is Nicholas Ortiz. He went missing on the 26th of this month, and he is just 14 years old. Was missing on 8,000 block of Six Pines Drive. He is 5'7", 160 pounds. This is in Shenandoah, Texas. So if anybody's in Shenandoah or in Texas, if you could share this information, this is huge. This is somebody that's close to one of my big supporters. So he's basically like part of the Mob Crew family. So we really like to bring him home for the holidays. If you have any information, please call 281-367-8952. So Copper Horse just gifted 50 more memberships. So we got 100 memberships. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. That's so awesome. Thank you so much, Copper Horse. That is so awesome. Whenever she does that, I always try to make do some extra stuff for the members. We'd usually try to do a members live once a week. And also I put something out for the members once or twice a week. And that's funny stuff to just behind the scenes. I like to do a little bit of everything. So that is so cool. That is so awesome. And what was I gonna say? So yeah, so anyway, I'm gonna do a video, break down the affidavit more with the witnesses and where they were. So it'll probably take some time. Probably won't be out until tomorrow, but super stoked on that. So I'm going to quickly play my affiliate real quick before I leave, and then we'll play the outro for the pets, and then we will go from there. Would you like to feel better about what you put into your body? This all-new product called Liquid IV is taking hydration to the next level. Liquid IV's Hydration Multiplier is a great tasting daily electrolyte drink mix that utilizes the breakthrough science of cellular transport technology to deliver hydration to your bloodstream faster and more efficiently than water alone. Just add the non-GMO electrolyte powder to your water and let CTT do the rest. It comes in tons of different flavors like strawberry, grape, lemon, lime, and much more. Just add the powder to water and get the hydration your body deserves. They have powder for energy, hydration, and even one to help you sleep better. If you'd like to learn more or purchase some, go to this link down in the description of this video. And if you use the code THEMOBCREW during your checkout, you can save up to 20% on your next order. Hydrate now with Liquid IV. Thank you. What's up, Mob Crew? All right, so everybody, I'm going to sign off. I'm going to do the outro for the pets. I should have a new pet outro maybe within a week or so. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys are amazing. I love you guys so much. And with that, we'll play the outro, and we will see you guys tomorrow. And thank you so much, Jennifer, for the dollar super sticker. I just saw that. Sorry. So thank you guys so much for the support and donations. You guys are amazing.